Good morning, my History 305 students. This is Professor Collins talking to you on the Thursday. I am making a recording this morning because we are not supposed to meet today. But I have gotten the impression from several students that despite the syllabus and despite various comments I have made reminding people of certain things over the last few weeks, that a few things have slipped through the cracks. So I want to go over those things very, very briefly this morning. First of all, today's Thursday. It's April the 18th. We do not meet today. We do not meet at the Spring Valley Building, room 165 today. Invariably, probably 2 or 3 of you, some of whom might have missed class, some of whom didn't hear it when I said this on April the 1st and April the 8th and April the 4th and April the 11th and April the 15th, that we do not have class today. You might show for class anyway. This is a matter of course. We do not meet because you're supposed to work on your first drafts of your papers today. So if you do somehow show up for class and miss this video, miss every effort that I've made to make sure that you know that you're not supposed to be in class today, that's on you. Please do not write in your evaluations, Professor Collins wasn't clear that we were on a class day that we weren't supposed to meet, even though the syllabus says it, even with the revisions to some of the dates. I reminded folks, even though I literally yelled it at the end of class on April the 15th, this past Monday. Okay, so that's one. Two is, and this is more content-based, I suppose, is the fact that you have a paper that's due tomorrow evening, Friday, April the 19th by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So get as much as you can done, including interviews, including possibility that you might not have all of that in by Friday, which is fine, as long as you have something for your presentation one way or the other. How are we doing this? I figured the fairest way to do the presentations is in alphabetical order by organization. So, if your organization starts with B, say Black Lives Matter, or the Children's Defense Fund, you will be going on Monday. If your organization is the UN Foundation, or I could do it by Girl Up if you want. That could be on Monday. But since the organization overall is the UN Foundation, that organization will go on Thursday. So we're doing that alphabetically. The first 4 groups alphabetically wise will present on Monday, April the 22nd, and the second group of 4 will present on Thursday, April the 25th. Leaving 10 to 15 minutes per group, including questions, right? So you want to leave a little bit of time for students, your fellow students in the class, to ask questions. Why? Because once I have your papers, before I do a single thing to them, I will distribute all of those papers via Blackboard and probably via email to everybody in the class, so everyone has a chance to read everyone else's papers, right? I mean, obviously everyone except, all the papers. So you are in charge of reading all of your paper, all the other papers other than the ones that you actually wrote for the class. So if you're for the UN Foundation, for instance, you read everybody else's papers except for your own, and so on. So then everyone has a chance to make comments, ask questions, follow up on things that were mentioned in your presentation. So that's 2. 3 is, as far as the actual presentations themselves are concerned. I hadn't really thought about this, but a couple of you reminded me that I hadn't given specific instructions, which I had a little bit, but I hadn't gone into a lot of detail about. Bottom line is you have 10 to 15 minutes. You can do a slide presentation. As long as you have a flash drive so that I can plug it into my computer so that it can go up, doing it, through PowerPoint, or if you want to do Google Slides, you can send it to me so I can, include it within Google Drive so that you can just pull it up and present it on that basis. You can do it that way. So if you want to do that kind of presentation. If you want to do something a little bit more formal, you're just sort of using cue cards and pointing out key points in your paper and key things that you've learned and so on and so forth, you can do it that way too. I mean, you want to get creative, I don't know. I mean, some of you have talent. I mean, if you wanted to do spoken word as part of your presentation, I guess you could do it that way too. Um, I mean, but I don't expect you to do much more than a standard 10 to 15 minutes worth of presenting key findings, key facts, key issues regarding your social justice organization, regarding how it deals with intersectional issues, particularly around racism, but racism and whatever that organization actually does, what its limits are in terms of financing, in terms of vision, in terms of those kinds of things that you were able to observe, how it contributes to the overall issue or movement that it's a part of. All those sorts of things you probably should talk about. So what you don't want to do is read your paper verbatim, because the presumption is, and I'm making this presumption in this case, unlike with the general class, is that your classmates have at least perused your paper on some level, meaning that they might have read the introduction or conclusion, maybe they read the interviews, maybe they read the abstract, whatever it is that you've put together in terms of your paper, they've probably read some of. I didn't mean to say abstract. You don't have to do an abstract. But typically, whatever parts of your paper that they have read, they will have read some of it. So please do not, absolutely do not read your paper word for word to the class. That's not a very good way of presenting papers. It's a terrible way of presenting papers, no matter who does it. There are too many professors who do it. There are too many professors who think that's the best way to present something when it's the lousiest freaking way to actually do it. So there is that. But beyond that, I mean, like I said, you could do a video presentation where you already have pre-recorded it and you just forward the video to me via YouTube or link or something along those lines, so that you could do a presentation that way, so that you're not on the spot breaking out in hives and sweating and tripping over your own words profusely as you do this presentation as well. So that's a possibility too. I'm not sure if I've really left you guys enough time to do a video recording of your presentation, but that's also a possibility. Other than that, I don't really have much else to add. But please, I have office hours today, and there's a weekend ahead. You can always email me and ask questions regarding how you want your presentation done and what can you do X, Y, or Z in doing such a presentation, right? I mean, you presumably play music, right? There are other things you could do to add a little bit of spice to it and not just make it, whatever, right? And if you have groups of 2 or 3, it would be good for all folks in the group to say something. They don't have to say a lot, maybe just a couple of sentences, while there's someone who's taking the lead, because some people are better at orating than others. But I should be able to hear from everybody in that group about what they're doing. So that's it. Like I said, feel free to email me. Come to my office hours today. If you need to really schedule something with me, I am on campus today because I have an afternoon class until 5:20. So I could conceivably meet with some folks a few minutes after 5:20, somewhere between 5:20 and 5:45 or 5:50 today. Otherwise, email me. Good luck.